All right, we're back with lacrosse. This time, women's. We just covered men's. It's a very easy structure, one game a week. Women's plays the same amount of games, but about everything else that we built through the week looks a little bit different. Now, if you remember, my specific experience was with soccer, women's soccer. Now, obviously, lacrosse is not soccer, but a female sport has the same research-backed priorities in terms of how we're preventing non-contact ACL injuries and other injuries. So we're going to use that experience as well as some research to build this out. And the biggest similarity and most important part is how important it is to continue to lift in season to prevent injury, but also to keep you as strong as possible with your performance. Now, the weekly schedule looks pretty similar as men's lacrosse, but here's the real difference. Men's lacrosse is almost entirely on Saturdays. Women's spreads out across Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. They all show up regularly across the season. And then there's one more structural piece before we really jump in. In the regular season, you're looking at 5 to 7 days between games. The postseason compresses that down significantly, and you're looking at 2 days between rounds. That's a completely different rhythm. In this video, we're gonna cover the regular season. And now we like to start our video with game day, so let's jump in. This is where we compete, execute, everything the week build towards gets spent right here. And that sets us up for game day +1, the day after. This is our recovery day. No lift, no practice, full recovery before the real training week starts. Now in our system, Monday is going to be the first day back practicing, game day +2, and this is gonna be our first big lift day. Just like men's lacrosse, this is the biggest lift of the week. We're looking at movements like trap bar deadlift, single leg RDL, bench press, lateral lunge. 2 of these are different from the men's version on purpose. The single leg RDL replaces a bilateral hinge. It's hamstring dominant and unilateral at the same time, which directly trains the kind of controlled deceleration that non-contact injuries happen without. And the lateral lunge replaces a standard reverse lunge because women's lacrosse is a non-contact sport. You can't just push through a defender the way men's lacrosse allows. Creating separation happens through cutting and lateral movement. So the training has to reflect that. And of course, our sport practice stays pretty light to match that big lift. Some quick film review, low intensity stick work, installing anything new for the upcoming week. Same logic as every other sport in the series, don't stack 2 hard sessions in one day. Now the lifts look different, and I wanna slow down here for a second to make sure we're explaining why they look different. Research shows female athletes tend to have a higher quad activation and lower hamstring activation compared to male athletes. And that imbalance is a real documented factor in non-contact ACL risk. Now I want to be clear, that's not a small footnote. Women's lacrosse is built on deceleration and change of direction to create space to play in, to perform in. So having injury risk from what makes the sport great is of high value as a strength coach. We want to make sure we're reducing that, which is why we put all the extra posterior chain work, the hinge work, into the program. And here's the part that made me want to include this at all. Multiple studies have shown that women, females, are not getting the same attention in the gym as men. They don't have access to strength coaches. That's not a biological issue, that's an access issue. That doesn't necessarily affect collegiate athletes as much that have a professional on staff. But if you're getting into college, you need to make sure you're training in season. Skipping an in-season lift doesn't just cost you strength, it literally sets you up to have more potential for injury, which then costs you games, and we don't want to cost anyone games. And now we're back to Tuesday. Tuesday is the hardest day of the week, and we don't even have a lift. We're looking at a full field scrimmage, transition drills, live ground ball battles, and the week's conditioning session, all on the day furthest from both games. And now Wednesday has our second lift, and just like men's lacrosse, we are focused more on power now that we're getting closer to our next games. Barbell jump squats, front squats, pull-ups, and skater jumps instead of a straight line bound. The skater jump matters specifically. It's lateral, single leg landing movement. That's not a random power exercise. That's rehearsal for the landing mechanics tied to the injury research we just covered at a day and intensity where the nervous system is fresh enough to actually learn it. Practice stays moderate, position specific, stick work, transition schemes, situational team concepts, well below Tuesday's intensity. And now that the big training is done, Thursday gets us into the taper. Here we're looking for low volume, sharpen the execution, no fatigue. And now of course, Friday is gonna be our lightest day of the week. This is our final prep before the next game. Nothing that costs energy, just tactical work. Now, of course, that's a week in women's lacrosse. Every coach is going to be a little bit different in how they set the week up. Most strength coaches are going to focus on the same thing as every team is playing the same sport. But what a coach demands in terms of energy systems, the strength coach is probably going to try to match that with some conditioning. This is a general template. Make sure you follow what you need individually based on position, based on where you're trying to play, and never settle with yesterday.